Saturday, November 7th. We're here with D.Y. Begay, the acclaimed Navajo weaver and artist. And D.Y. has been showing us how she makes dyes for her rugs using all natural materials. So, D.Y., would you like to explain a little bit to us for her TV?
What I'm doing today? Oh gosh, you don't have to use everything I'm going to say, right? well, should we start with the raw material? The original, just a natural raw, color, then natural white, and that's where it really starts. And this is, probably the step that I enjoy the most is the dyeing process because. It's very experimental. I never know what color I'm going to come up with or what color a plant will give. It could be plants, berries, insects, basically whatever gives color. So here are some examples of some of the material that I use. Coreopsis, which is what I grow in my garden. The hollyhock are collected by friends, and onion skins are collected by friends too. Those are some of the materials that I use. And one of the most common material that we use as Navajo weavers is Navajo tea, walnuts, which is what I have today, to show, demonstrating what colors they give. And so in this pot, I have the walnuts soaking, which these walnuts I picked over the summer. I'm using the whole nut, the hull and the skin and everything. Oh gosh, here it is.
So you don't just use the shell, you're using.
For this one, I'm using the whole, nut, the shell and the skin. Usually, I break it up and, just to, get just to extract more color. So this is the walnut dye bath, and I got one skein soaking in here. This is the fourth skein that I, put in here, and it's a beautiful reddish brown color. And I'm just going to let this one sit in here for another hour or two, and the color will probably get deeper, a deeper brown. So
Smell the tan and the
that smells beautiful, yeah. And I finished the Navajo tea dye bath, which is exhausted now. So right now I got a different dye bath simmering here, which is Brazil wood. And this particular dye bath is going to give me a shade of purple. But I'll just let that soak, for a while. It will, should be a deeper, purple in about an hour or so. So.
So, or did you soak how did you prepare the Brazil wood to be soaked in extract color?
I basically soak the material, at least a day or two before I use it. This bag of walnuts been soaking, for 2 days, prior to, today. Same thing with the Brazil wood. I just, soak the material. And I do that pretty much with all the material that I use. I just soak it in the dye bath until, the color is extracted, from the material.
Cool. And what color does the Navajo tea make?
I have Navajo tea. I got 3 different colors. This was the first dip, which is a beautiful deep orange color, and this was the second, dip, and that's what color would you say this is? Gold,
Yeah, like
brown gold.
Yeah, brownish gold.
And this one was a week, the dye bath was becoming exhausted, so it just sort of muddy up. So those are the 3 colors that I got from the Navajo tea, and the color varied because of the mordant that I used. This was mordant and chrome, which altered the color. Yeah, and
And I've noticed that you have tagged them with the date and what you have dyed them with. Is there a reason that you've done that?
yes, it just helps me to keep track of what I'm dyeing, when I dyed it, what color, or if it's mostly for the mordant. I label it with what kind of mordant I use. So in case that I want to achieve this color at a later time, I can just refer to the label and say, oh, okay, so I pre-morded this in chrome, so that's what I would use to try and achieve the exact color.
And so when you finish, it'll be purple?
Well, could be, it will have some purple. I'm hoping a little bit more red.
Red,
But
okay.
I'll see what happens.
More maroon.
I can't promise you a red or a real true purple.
Well, buy things
yeah.
from the store because then I go.
Yeah. But if you see, it's,
Just took it so quick.
That's
yeah, it's going to be more
gorgeous.
purple. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
So
still
I can just let it sit in here. Yeah, at least an hour. The color
to
should
make
get
it
deeper.
really
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, this is just too.
Yeah.
This is only a few seconds. Wow. The water and even the place where you pick the material, the soil affects the material, the colors, and location. You know, I could pick Navajo tea from Navajo, New Mexico, and it will be slightly different compared to the tea that I picked around my home in Salina, which this is from home. It could be slightly different. Location, soil, water, city water, rainwater, all that affects the color.
And do you use city water or are you using distilled water?
I use both. Yeah, the Brazil wood I'm using distilled water, but for the most part I'm using city water.
And I remember from helping out with acorn porridge demonstrations that if we use city water, the iron turns the acorns more of this kind of rusty color, and if we use distilled water, it remains its beautiful golden brown.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of
Yeah,
asking.
it's basically
Minerals and water.
that's how colors are affected with the yarn too. City water is very hard, especially here. So that definitely affects the result.
But it could affect it in a good way.
Yes, I just you never know. Well, all natural colors are beautiful anyway. So
This is true.
yeah.
Anything else you want to share with the viewers about your work in general and your work to develop more of these natural dyes in particular?
Well, I enjoy the dyeing process. I enjoy making the colors. I enjoy the results, and that's what I work with. Is what I achieve with my colors.
Well, great. Thank you so much, DY, for taking a few moments out of your day to share this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is Deb Kroll, and you're watching Her TV. We've just finished an interview with DY Begay. Thanks.